There are so many harness racing participants in the Hunter Valley doing it tough as a result of the huge storms and floods last week. Phil Ilsley runs an adjustment property in Eagleton, just near Raymond Terrace, but he still finds the time to train the odd pacer or two. Phil and his family were forced to flee their property as a result of the rising waters and were rescued by the water police in the middle of the night. The property has been badly affected and it will be months before Phil has it set up the way he had it before the storm hit. But to his and his family's credit, they are ready for the big clean-up job ahead. You must be heartbroken with what's happened.
I am in a way, but I'm not. I'm quite doing all right now. When you sort of look back now and you see the devastating of other people's places and animals and all that. So I've been very lucky to sort of save 26 horses, and we'll get by and we'll get through this, and hopefully everything will work out in the end for us.
You train a few, but you're also here. You're a spelling property, and people have horses here with you, and that's how this business works.
Yes, that's my main income, is through the spelling of galloping trainers, trotting trainers. I don't have a lot of GSTs, but I do foal down horses for customers, and yeah, I just train a couple, just keep me going there in a way. I sort of enjoy it a bit that way, so it just keeps going along in the family line.
Well, take us through what happened. Obviously, the rain started to fall early last week, and then things obviously got worse very quickly.
Yes, it certainly did. I've never seen the river and the water that had come down, and what came down from Dungog on the Williams River, which we're situated, and it banked up that quick. It's sort of, we had to move horses. We moved them up from a 30-acre property, moving up to a 10-acre situation, and by 1:30 on a Thursday afternoon, I think, or Friday, not too sure there. But anyway, we had a cuppa and quickly looked down and went, we better keep moving these horses up. So we got a great big cattle mound. We moved them up to the cattle mound, and then as we brought them up, the horses don't ever come up here. They'll just getting away from us and running back down to the water situation, so we were chasing the horses in the water, and in the end we sort of had to pull down fences and cattle round yards to fence off the bottom so we can keep them up on this cattle mound, and from there on we'll just, in the end, I was in the water for up to 8 hours, a couple of family members, and we sort of got the whole 26 horses up here, and in that time we sort of spent a time up here and keeping the horses calm and feeding them as much as we can to keep them up here, but also doing a lot of fence work so they didn't run back down into the water.
It got worse because all of a sudden it was, the water levels kept rising, and at one stage you guys must have been fearing for your safety.
Yes, it was Friday. It would have been Friday evening. At 3 o'clock we started ringing 000 and emergencies centres, and we couldn't get hold of anyone. The communications didn't seem to be working, or I don't know what was the situation that way, but we got a hold of somebody on 000 at 5:45, and we were cutting in and out all the time, and it took to probably 8 o'clock when we had to give our coordinates where we exactly were. We needed a longitude, latitude. They needed lights where we were, and we thought we had everything right to be rescued around the 8 o'clock, and they had rang us up and got through to us saying they had to abort the mission because there was 3-foot waves on the river. They couldn't get the police rescue boat down to us, and in that stage we were getting very, very, very worried because we had no boat ourselves to get out, and our mound has a lot of rubble under it, so it started having sinkholes, and there, once again, we just thought, well, we're going to get undermined, even if we got into our living quarters and all that. Yes, we were going to get undermined, and we thought we were going to get sort of washed away there. But we did try to get a helicopter in here at one stage, but they aborted that because of the thunderstorm and lightning. And by 11:30, the police did make an attempt. They came from the water police from Balmain, and they eventually got down here. It took them an hour and a half to get down here by boat. Eventually got me, my wife and the 2 kids out, and I couldn't thank them enough, and it was very, very terrifying at that stage. And even getting rescued by the boat to get home again, back out of here, you just didn't know what was in the water or what we're going to hit and things, but we got through.
So you came back the next day, and I guess the first thing you will have to do is survey the damage. How are all the horses, and how's the property?
Yeah, my main worries was the horses. As I said, there was 26 here, and there's 22 clients' horses here. We had a little colt in the front yard, and we couldn't put him with the rest of the horses. And the time we got here by boat, it was just a hand off his wither, and he's probably a 14-hand horse. But he survived, and he lived. And he was just standing there in the corner in the paddock. The other horses, my main concern was I couldn't get water to them quick enough because they were mostly dehydrating, legs swelling up. But we certainly gave them all bute and electrolytes and all that to just give them a kick along, and they're still recovering now, but they're doing fine.
What about you? You and the family, how much has this knocked you around? Not only physically, you said you'd been in the water 8 hours and that had hurt and made you quite tired. But what about emotionally and mentally? Like, an experience like this, it does take its toll.
Yes, it certainly does. I look at it this way: I was saved, and I was run down, and certainly not the best health-wise, been in the water for all that time. But I look at people's other situations. People have lost families, and people lost more than what I've lost, and I think, well, I'm doing all right, we'll get through this, and you just got to be strong in that way.
What about the property? How long is it going to take you to get it back to how you had it before the storm hit?
Yeah, coming into winter, it's not a good time for growth. As I said, it's an old dairy farm which has terrific grass and feed here, but I think looking at it, as long as we don't get more rain and that, and the sun's out and shining, we're probably looking at maybe 3 or 4 months. I don't know, you keep finding stuff, and we can't get down the property much at this moment because you're just walking through mud up to your ankles. So, just time-wise, and just see how long the grass does come through. You've got to lime all your paddocks now and all that, and health risks and that, and what's in the water. There's still more cattle and all that. I haven't got down to the back dams to see, if there's anything sort of making the water untreatable to drink and things like that. So we've got to sort of get around all that.
What about all your sheds there? They're full of water, full of mud?
Yeah, it's just it's just a bit of elbow grease that we're going to have to do and get in there and get them up again and see what we can salvage out of this and rebuild those sheds and go again and hope the clients keep coming back.
Well, I think that's I think this is the time where the clients have really got to support people because without their support it makes it very difficult, and they've been with you through the good times and they've got to stick through the bad times as well.
Yes, they certainly have been actually. I've had quite a few of me customers turn up and give us a hand here, and I can't thank them enough too, and certainly we're in contact with our customers I have here. And they've all been very, very supportive and that. So they've been terrific, sending food and clothing and that. So that's wonderful.
And what about give us some idea how high the water got in these paddocks? You've got a jog car and that was completely underwater.
Yes, well, we didn't have time to get it out, but also it was a blockage to stop the horses running in different directions, which was making it more chaos. if they had got away from us or we couldn't catch them, we needed them to follow other horses. Yes, I say it would have been, it probably came to over 7 foot in the water at this stage, down there where the jog car is and the stables. Yes, that's right.
Devastation, but you've handled it very well.
Thanks very much, Greg. Appreciate it.